Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today I want to take a look at the footage that we saw of the new Season 6 map in yesterday's devlog. Now obviously yesterday I was a bit flabbergasted over the devlog itself, more so in the way the news was delivered more than the content itself. I know whilst most of you seem to feel the same way that I did, some people in the comments thought I was being like super negative, and you know, I get that nobody wants to watch somebody whine and moan about a game they love. You just want to come home from work or school and watch a positive video. So, you know, I am sorry I had to put you through that, but nevertheless, I felt I had to put my feelings down on video, as it were. But you know what, we're moving on from that. So even though it was only a second or two, we have learned quite a lot about the new Season 6 map, the setting, and a possible theme for Season 6. So we're going to study all of that here in this video, and then we're going to take a look at some recently data mined player cards, and also the in-game lore to see how this all connects. But before we get started, if you guys do enjoy the content here on the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. 50k is not that far away now, so that'll be an awesome goal to hit, and as always guys, thank you for your support. Okay, so the first shot we see here is a corridor inside a building, sparks are flying, things seem to be in disarray, and you will notice this area has this red lighting as if it's on some kind of lockdown state. Now this also corresponds to this upcoming Easter egg hunt player card that was actually recently data mined, so I can only assume this is inside the same facility. Now we can also see what looks like some sort of a chamber for a human, so that would make one think this is a medical facility of some sort, or somewhere they're operating and experimenting on humans. And there's also a very nice comfy leather seat on the left there, so this would appear to be some sort of a waiting area. Now in the second section of the video, we appear to be outside in some kind of jungle, and the other big takeaway here of course is that it's nighttime, and we'll get to that part in a second. However, up in the top left corner there, you can also see a building, which could well be the structure that we were just looking at. Now, you may think this is the great outdoors here, but if we look at the other data mine player card, it shows this large biome with trees growing inside of it, and it's also daytime. Now, some people have speculated that it's simply an artificially grown jungle, others that this could be some sort of a computer-generated environment. Now we'll get to all of the lore behind all of this and what I think the setting here is going to be in a second, but the biggest reaction I've seen to this footage is that it's going to be a night map, or at least a pretty dark one. Now firstly, this may simply be a temporary state. If this biome is indeed entirely artificial, it could be able to change from night to day by simply altering the lighting, which I think would actually make for a pretty cool Levolution event. However, night maps on the whole seem to be received with mixed feelings. Some players think it'll be an absolute nightmare, visibility will be terrible, it's a camper's paradise, etc. But on the other hand, it does look pretty damn cool. Now we had the chance to experience several night maps in Battlefield 4, and I can tell you that it really does change things up. All of a sudden, flashlights become far more important. I don't think I've ever seen somebody use a flashlight attachment in 2042. Lasers really start to give away your position, and thermal optics become more important than ever. But there are also some balance concerns. For example, is everybody just going to run Pike to combat the lack of visibility and all of the campers? I think if DICE were releasing 4 maps here, you know, they could take a calculated risk like this with one of them. After all, if you didn't like that one, you could just matchmake into a new server instead, right? But, you know, given the fact that this seems to be Season 6's one and only map, if this is indeed a full night map, then this could be extremely hit or miss. Now, I don't want to read too much into this though. This could be only a small section of the map, or it could be some sort of day and night cycle. Who knows? Now, this isn't something I often do, but this time we're going to dive deep into the lore of Battlefield 2042, because this really tells us a lot about the new setting of the new season when you piece it all together. And this is all coming courtesy of Comet307, who left a very lengthy comment on a previous video of mine. So much thanks for that. I will leave his Twitter below if you're interested in the lore of 2042. I thoroughly recommend checking him out. Now before we jump into his comment, a little bit of context here. So these are the descriptions that were data mined from the player cards. And on card number 1, you can see it's this operating system called the Aurora operating system, and it's being spoken to by this person called Boreas. And this guy Boreas seems to be the creator of this AI, and this further leads into the speculation that this may be a computer-generated environment of some sort. In card number 2, they also mention that the sky isn't real. They talk about some sort of barracks and this biological subject containment. And then this sentence here, new people came, new people died. The reward for passing tests was getting strapped down and fitted with combat implants, no anesthetic. And if we think back to what we saw in the start of the video footage, like I said, there was some sort of a chamber, some sort of a medical chamber, and that seems to really tie in for, medical operations or experiments taking place in this facility. Okay, let's just jump straight into what Comet had to say here. So he said, like with any Battlefield 2042 season, we have to look at the lore. So one might ask, who is Boreas? Well, nothing has been explained explicitly in the lore. You can piece together Boreas' history. The first nugget of lore I will bring up is one of Oscar Bergman's dialogues featured on loading screens. So if you aren't familiar with Bergman, he was one of the founders of the company Nordvik, which was heavily featured in Season 3 Escalation. Here's the quote in question. Boreas, that's an old investment, but if any other project were ever to come back to haunt us, it would be that one. So we can see from this quote that whatever Boreas was working on could be quite dangerous if it is in the wrong hands. We can also tell that Boreas used to be working for Nordvik, as Bergman says it's an old investment. And then he goes on here to say, next I want to shift over to the most recent lore, namely the web lore on Archangel. In the page title Archangel Reports, which is found on the backstory section of the Battlefield website, we can see the leadership update, the executive board on Archangel's most important efforts. And here is the most important section. Neuralink Technologies and Prosthetics Division, the team has done phenomenal work on the rollout of our Warriors Reborn Initiative. We have restored more than 20,000 soldiers to full operational capacity through the application of our enhanced prosthetics. It's worth highlighting Boreas' research in this field promises revolutionary developments and heralds a paradigm shift in infantry warfare. So it sounds here like this Warriors Reborn Initiative is taking injured soldiers and fitting them with military grade prosthetics. Now he continues on saying Archangel's motto is the betterment of humanity, and this Warriors Reborn initiative seems to be done to improve those soldiers who had been gravely injured on the battlefield. However, I would argue that this initiative could be used for sinister purposes. With all of these soldiers possessing neural links, couldn't they be run like a computer, carrying out tasks for the one who they call their leader? We also see the Archangel leadership name drop Boreas, which tells us that he is the mastermind behind the Warriors Reborn initiative. This quote I picked out also has a connection to a recent player card released during the Archangel Directive event, Paradigm Shift. In this card it says, but their biggest impact was yet to come, it would be felt on the battlefield, a revolution was coming, and war would never be the same again. This reads to me like a gameplay change could be coming to Battlefield 2042 in Season 6. Imagine if our specialists were to be enhanced with prosthetics and how gameplay could be altered. And finally, onto those two leaked player cards. Given everything in those cards, I think it's clear that the Season 6 map will be the underground base where Boreas and his team runs the Warriors Reborn initiative. Why do I say underground? This is because in the Never Back Down player card, it alludes to the Archangel Legion and their assets will continue west to a place far below. This would also line up with the fake sky mentioned in one of the leaked player cards. The base is where Boreas carries out the modification of injured soldiers, and more so the question if those soldiers even survive the treatment, and where those enhanced soldiers train with their newfound abilities. So yeah, quite interesting possibilities for the next season, especially with Ryan MacArthur saying that Season 6 will be, well, I didn't expect that, but that's really Battlefield. I know a lot of people were making fun of that quote considering yesterday's devlog, but I think he could be right here. This guy really knows his lore. He has found every little bit of lore in the game. I haven't done that, so all of that stuff you just heard from me comes courtesy of Comet. Great job there, man. But I think he's exactly on the money here. I think that is exactly what this facility is, and that is also why I honestly don't think it's going to be an entire night map. I think we're going to see some sort of a day-night cycle. I've also seen people say many a time that that would be a fantastic feature to have in a Battlefield map. So that is pretty much all I can tell for what is coming in Season 6. However, if you guys think I missed something down below, or you would just like to comment with some speculation of your own, by all means, feel free to do that. I love reading your guys' comments. If you enjoyed the video today, leave a like and subscribe for more Battlefield content. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.